um, participant and non-participant and natural versus controlled.
Yes.
Natural, the researchers when in the natural real life setting
Yes.
to study the results and which can this type of research which cannot be controlled in a laboratory.
Yes, correct.
And in a laboratory, this in laboratory controlled which can controlled observation are those which can be conducted in a laboratory. For
Yes.
example, the smoke experiment
Yes.
and smoke experiment. Next is participant and non-participant.
Non-participant observation. Yes.
Participant, they would have taken involved in the activity.
Yes.
Activities and it will they reveal their identity. And in non-participant, they cannot reveal their identity. They will make a distance and study the result.
Yes.
And the advantages and disadvantages are in advantages, it is a simple method.
Okay.
It is a simple method and it is a simple method and it cannot be applied in every problem.
Okay. That is a disadvantage.
Yes, and next the disadvantage is labor intensive.
Labor intensive. Yes.
And time consuming.
Time consuming. Yes.
And subsequently of bias, which means that includes the influence of the beliefs or the events of the person.
Person means the researcher or the person who is observing. Okay, Alvina, very good. Then, who's next? Yes, for those who joined late, we are revising our topics for those topics that we dealt with till now of the second chapter. I already told you to study and come. Raina and Grishma, did you study? Yes. Okay, Grishma, would you like to choose any topic or should I ask you?
Can I choose any topic?
Okay, you can choose. Yes.
Correlational.
Correlational research. Okay, come on.
In correlational research, we find the relationship between two variables. But unlike the other methods, we don't manipulate the independent variable.
Yes.
We're really trying to find the relationship, if there is a relationship or if they co-vary.
Yes.
And correlation has it has strength and
direction.
Strength and direction.
Yes.
Then the number is called correlation coefficient.
Coefficient. Yes.
It ranges from positive 1.0 through 0 to minus 1.0.
Yes, very good.
Then there are two types of correlation: positive correlation and negative correlation.
Three types.
And zero correlation.
Okay.
Three types.
Yes. Three types.
In positive correlation, when one variable increases, the other variable also increases.
And if it decreases?
Decreases, the other variable also decreases.
Decreases. Very good. Then
for negative correlation, if one variable increases, the other variable decreases.
Yes.
And if one variable decreases, the other variable increases.
Yes.
And for zero correlation, we cannot find any relation.
Yes.
And
can you give
we
an
don't
example?
in intelligence and the amount of tea we drink.
Tea that we drink. Okay, very good. Then.
And we don't generally get zero, but when we get numbers that are close to zero, like 0.2 or 0.3, then there is no significant relationship, and we can say that there is no relationship between the two variables.
Okay, very good. Now, who's next? Amal, do you want to? Yes, you can choose.
Ma'am, nature of psychology data.
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Ma'am, nature of psychological data.
Okay, nature of psychological data. Yes.
Ma'am, data. Ma'am, it's the information related to the individual. It may be covert or overt behavior.
Yes.
It may be subjected to their experiences, mental processes.
Okay.
Ma'am, it's collected from the individual.
Yes.
Ma'am, and to sub
Which all informations are
demographic,
collected then? What all types?
ma'am,
From demographic. Yes, demographic data. What are they?
ma'am, is the information, ma'am, is the personal information it includes of a particular person, which includes material status, economy, religion,
Yes, the personal information comes
and
under
their address.
demographics. Then, which other three types are there?
Ma'am, physical,
Physical? What?
physical information.
Yes.
This includes the ma'am, parenting, and the parenting psychological environment.
Then, the other set of information? After demographic and physical, which other informations do we collect?
Ma'am, psychological information.
Then, one more. Regarding the biological information, the brain activities, the skin responses, EEG.
Biological.
What was the other name for that? Phi?
I forgot.
You forgot. It was physiological information. Okay. Okay, you revised it, Amal. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then who's next? Who didn't get a chance? Raina, come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Which topic do you want to discuss?
Some method, important method in psychology. The topic, no?
Yeah.
Observation.
Observation is already dealt with. Elvina told. We finished goals. We finished steps. We finished correlation. We finished observation. Which other topic do you want? Or should I ask you?
I will select a topic.
Okay.
Selection.
Selection is also finished. Elvina gave us some extra information. Experimental method. Can you try?
Ma'am, that part I was not clear. That meant that
Yeah, you were absent, right? Okay, if you need extra help, ask me, okay? Go through the videos, the textbook.
Ma'am, some parts of the textbook I didn't get in YouTube.
Okay. I'll send it over to you if you want. You can ask me.
Okay.
Which other topic do you know?
Like, this like what they said, naturalistic, controlled, non-past event, and that.
Do you know about surveys? Were you there in the class? Survey method?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, talk about survey method then.
A survey method is used to collect information about the person.
From?
Different.
From a large number of people.
Large number of people.
Then, do you know the types? How are surveys conducted?
They ask questions.
Yes.
They ask physical.
Yeah, all sorts of information they ask. And did you learn actually?
I learned, but I'm not remembering the words.
Okay. I'll give the first one. Personal interviews were the first one that we studied in the survey. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes. What all did we learn in personal interviews?
Personal interview. We study like the question is like they have a question. The set of questions and they ask.
Who asks?
The interviewer.
Interviewer asks, and the person who is answering is called the interviewee or the respondent. Go through it once more. Okay, Raina?
Okay, ma'am.
Tomorrow when you come, you have to study it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then who's next? Ashish. Ashish, are you there? He left the meeting and joined again. Ashish? Ashish? Rest of you guys got the chance, right? Anybody who didn't answer? No. Ashish, yes, tell me. Which topic do you want from the second chapter? Oh, Ashish. Ashish. He's not here. Okay, so as of now, let me tell you, I think you all are somewhat prepared for the exam right now. You have understood somewhat, you just need a quick revision, and similarly study the first chapter also. Okay, before we finish the first chapter, we already had one small round of revision, but along with the portions that we are going to learn from today onwards, go through the chapters of the first portion also, and if you have any doubt, contact me. Okay, yes. Ashish, yes, are you ready to answer? He's stuck. Ashish. We'll give some simple question to Ashish. Ashish, can you hear me? Okay, I'll give a simple question to Ashish. Among the independent and dependent variables, which is the cause and which is the effect? Send me the answer in the chat box if you can't answer it through the audio. I can't see you also, Ashish. Grishma, also switch on your video. Ashish, if you are hearing me, send the answer in the chat box. Among independent and dependent variables, which is the cause and which is the effect in an experiment? There is no answer till now. Okay. We'll continue our presentation. Yes, Ashish, did you hear me? He's having some connectivity issues, so we'll continue with our portion and we'll wait for the answer. And yes, before I share the presentation, let me ask you something. Are you aware of the term psychological testing? Yes? No? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
Have you heard the term psychological testing?
No.
No. Okay. So till now we learned the methods like observation method, experimental method, and survey method. The next method through which we collect information or data from the participants in a research is through psychological testing. Psychological testing means we conduct a test based on a psychological concept. That is basically psychological testing. Understood? And we are going to learn about psychological testing in this particular session. And I'll share the presentation. Can you see? Yes? Okay. So psychological testing. Psychologists have constructed different types of tests for assessment of various human characteristics such as intelligence, aptitude, personality, interest, attitudes, values, educational achievement, etc. What this particular method deals with is, as I told you before, we have certain instruments or tools or tests for measuring the psychological concepts or variables. What were variables? Who can tell me? Amal, can you tell me? What are variables?
That keep changing, but it can be measured.
You are so fast, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat?
Ma'am, that things that keep changing, but it can be measured.
Yeah, it keeps on changing or it varies and it can be measured. Anything that varies or changes and can be measured is termed as a variable. So psychological variables, we have n number of psychological variables. The intelligence, aptitude, personality, all these comes under the term psychological variables. So intelligence, we find it through intelligence test. We find something known as IQ. I hope you all have heard about it. IQ, intelligence quotient. Similarly, we have EQ, something known as EQ, which is emotional quotient. Then we have aptitude. What is aptitude and attitude? Do you know the difference? No? No. Okay. Aptitude test, anybody, have you done before? Before choosing the streams, the science stream or the commerce stream, which stream do you want to choose? Because based on the career choices that we make, some of us do aptitude test before choosing some career options or job options and all. And what aptitude really means is the abilities or skills that people have towards something. Say if I'm telling you that you have an aptitude towards dancing, then you have the physical as well as the mental ability to dance. Understood. And if you have a good aptitude towards music or the rhythm, then it means that you have the ability or that skill to learn music as well as use music in different methods. Understood. That is what aptitude means. And attitude means certain feelings or viewpoints that we have towards something. It might be a person, it might be a concept, it might be an object, it might be an event. So the attitude means the viewpoint or feeling that we have towards something. And aptitude, APTITUDE, that means the skill or the ability that we have towards doing something. Understood the difference? Okay. Then we have personality. Personality, I already told you, that is the basic characteristics of the person. Then interest, in which all topics you have more interest in. Then we have values, the value system, the belief system that you have been following. Then educational achievement, how much you are learning, how much you can achieve. Then we have several other topics like achievement motivation, how much you are motivated to achieve something. Then you have different tests based on psychological disorders like depression. For depression, you have certain tests. For anxiety, that is apprehension, the tensions that you have tests to check your level of anxiety, your depression, your level of depression. Then your quality of life, how is your current standard of living, how well are you doing right now in your life. Then the subjective well-being of the person, how happy you are right now, how relaxed you are right now. We have so many number of tests in order to measure all these. So all these comes under the method that we are studying, that is psychological testing. Understood? Got an introduction? Yes. Now we'll see what a psychological test is. This is the definition. Note in your lecture notes. A psychological test is a standardized and objective instrument which is used to assess an individual's standing in relation to others on some mental or behavioral characteristics. I know it's a long definition, but you have to study this. This is from your textbook. This is from the syllabus that we follow. Okay, a psychological test is a standardized and objective instrument. I have put that in bold because we are going to learn what standardization and objectivity is. So basically, it has main two characteristics. That is, it is standardized in nature. It is objective in nature. We'll see that in the coming portion. And it is an instrument, yes, which is used to assess an individual's standing. Means in relation to others. So the individual's position in relation to the other people with whom we are comparing this particular score. If suppose we are comparing the intelligence, imagine it like that. So if Reina is getting a particular intelligence, or Amal is getting a particular intelligence, or Elvina is getting a particular IQ score, then I am writing the interpretation in comparison to the rest of the others of your age group. Okay, that is why this particular psychological test is said to be describing the individual's standing, that is individual's position in relation to others on some mental or behavioral characteristics. So the mental or behavioral characteristic that we said in the example was intelligence. It can be personality, it can be anxiety, it can be depression, anything based on our interest. Okay, if we are studying or doing a research in depressive patients, then our focus of the study would be depression. So the mental or behavioral characteristic that we are studying would be depression. Like that, we can vary according to the researcher's wish or the researcher's desire. So again, I'll go through the definition once more. A psychological test is a standardized and objective instrument which is used to assess an individual's standing in relation to others on some mental or behavioral characteristics. So what you have to notice that it is standardized as well as objective. Then it is an instrument which is used to assess the individual's position or the individual standing in relation to the others around him. In relation to others on based on what? Based on some mental or behavioral characteristics. Okay, clear? Okay. Now we'll see what objectivity is. Objectivity we already learned in this chapter. Who remembers what subjectivity is? Anybody?
Will have a different influence, such as objectivity, which means that someone who studies in two groups or two persons who studies the research will come to the same conclusion or same extent.
Okay.
But in subjectivity it will be different.
Okay. It differs. Subjectivity means it differs from person to person. Objectivity was the just opposite of subjectivity. So subjectivity we learned first when we learned about experiences. We told that experiences are subjective in nature. So my experience would be different from your experience. Our experiences would be different from people in America, right? So subjectivity means the whatever we are studying that differs from person to person. But in objectivity, this doesn't differ from person to person. So just imagine if the psychological test was subjective in nature, then if I do a test and if some other researcher come and do the test, and if somebody from another country comes and do the test, then the results would be totally different, right? Because the way I administer the test, the way I give instructions to them, all these factors affects how participants give us responses. So in order to avoid all those bias and errors, what we do is we make the psychological test standardized as well as objective. And let's see what's objectivity in this particular psychological test. Objectivity refers to the fact that if two or more researchers administer a psychological test on the same group of people, both of them would come up with more or less the same values for each person in the group. So if I am doing the test, I am conducting the test, or if I call some other assistant or assistant researchers to conduct the test, or if I call some of you, if I call some of the students to conduct this particular test, if I call some PhD holders to come and conduct the test, then all of us should get somewhat same effect from the test. That is, the instructions that we give, that should be similar. Then the methods that we are administering, the methods that we are giving to the participant should be similar. All these factors ensure that there are no subjectivity in our administering the test or scoring the test or whichever way we are doing the test. In the psychological test, there shouldn't be any form of subjectivity in order to ensure that we do so many things to make it objective in nature. Okay, so if two people are administering the same test on the same people, then they are more likely to get similar results if it is an objective test. Understood? Yes, any doubts? Any doubt? Can't see you. Any doubt? Taina, any doubt? No, okay. Objectivity means that all sources of bias are minimized and that personal or subjective ideas are eliminated. So, whoever is doing the research, whatever characteristic the researcher has, all these value systems or belief systems of the researcher doesn't have any role in this psychological test. He is just a researcher, he is just a person who is meant to administer this test and score this thing. He doesn't have the duty to judge the respondent score or judge the responses that the participants are giving us. Okay, if we are doing such things, then the total result would be biased in nature. Understood? So let's imagine when I'm doing a depression test. I'm the researcher and I'm conducting a research on depression. And I'm collecting so many participants and I want to see if this particular sample of people has depression or not. Let it be some post-flood survey. After the flood, I am conducting a research and I want to know if many people have lost so many things during the flood times, right? And I want to see if they are depressed about it or not. I'm conducting a survey for that. So I'm using a psychological test for depression and I'm giving a questionnaire with items number 20. Items means each questions or each set of statements that are there in the psychological test, we call it items. Okay, note that in your lecture note. The number of, the each statement or the each question that we have in a psychological test, we call that an item. Okay, and in this example, I'm giving them a test and I have to see that the instructions have already been set earlier because I'll have so many participants here. So if I alone stand and ask these questions or give this question or give the instructions, then the research will take more time. So I'm calling in some other people to help me in administering the test. And if only the instructions and all are kept constant, then only I'll get a similar result, a constant or unique result. Otherwise, if I am giving them an elaborate instruction and my assistants are giving only just a small instruction like just fill in this form and give me back. If they are giving just that particular instruction, then those participants would give me some other result and this participant to whom I am administering the test would give me some other result, right? That's common sense. So in order to avoid all these factors, we ensure objectivity of a test. Understood? And we'll see how objectivity is done in the next class. We have a class at 3. Okay. So that's it. We'll continue the next class. Okay, it's already 1:40. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.